Well, hello, folks. Top Gun here with you today, and I got a good one for you. So, first off, I'd like to apologize. Apparently, I lost subscribers over releasing a video about warp technology. Wow. Alright. And I mean, it's not alien like conspiracy stuff. This is actual things you can Google and check with NASA. But, alright. Point taken. No more videos on that. So here you go. Some math and how I'm going to make money. Because I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you where or what you should do with your money. I can only tell you what I'm doing with my money. And I can't really tell you what the future is going to be. That crystal ball. I don't actually know the future. Occasionally, I can spot some movements in the market, and I have a good hunch what it's going to do, so I might spend some money on it, and I might share that information with you. So today, I'm going to share some information with you. Where are we going to start? We're going to start on howtopulse.com. That's where we're going to start, folks. So, in pulse.com, we have a whole bunch of information about Pulse Chain, how it works, how faucets, yada, yada, yada. Some information about Hex, the native DeFi. Tools, the leaderboard, our sacks, scam detectors. Well, that's handy. Looking out for the whole community. MetaMask migrations to Trezors, so you can figure out how to use hardware wallets. Awesome. Pulse Chain, price X prediction, when my math for that comes. Where do you think you'll find it? Okay. Shill, more about us, everything. Tools. I imagine that the calculator I'm going to show off today is going to come here, and I'm going to talk about it today, because no expectation on the work of others. But talking to one of the members of the team, they may actually be in the middle of coding it for possibly updating to the site. So let's take a look at what calculator they're providing that I have built so that I can figure out if providing a liquidity is a good idea for me. So this thing looks completely broken. It's a bunch of zeros, divide functions, right? Okay. So up here, little note, the formula I always keep in mind. X times Y equals K, and X divided by Y equals P. Now I thought maybe I should change this formula, actually use some variables that people can understand. And like, what are you doing, Top Gun, changing the letters? It doesn't really change the formula. No, it doesn't. But what we're calling it now is assets times the value. A lot of people think of that as money. And that in here will equal the size of pool. That's what the S stands for. And then, in this again, if we divide the asset by the value in the pool, we get the price. So, asset value, help if I could spell right, and price. That's what this is. That's what those formulas are. This is the juggling around. So for other people that might know these terms, I will actually teach this formula at some point. I am not a financial advisor, but yes, maybe you should know how to do your accounting. So maybe I should do some lessons on that. So back to the calculator though. How do we use this? Well, my personal intention for this was either from the past to now to figure out if what I've been providing is a good idea to cash out now, or from now to the future if I'm figuring out if I want to provide liquidity for something and I have an expectation of where the price might be or when I want to pull out. And then I suppose it could be used from the past to the future if I'm currently providing. But whatever, you pick your 2 points in time. So for this purpose today, we're going to pick this point in time. We've got 0.81. Beautiful. Or 0 point. Yeah. You guys can see the number. So I'm going to type it in the future. 0.0081. Done. That's in the future. Yes, it's an error because we have nothing to start with. Let's assume we have 10,000 USDC and just as much pulse that we want to provide. Well, that's great. Calculator doesn't like it when I don't use the right symbols, but still, we've got some issues. But we know now that there will be a total value of 20 grand in here. Well, what was the price of the pulse to start? Okay, what was the price? Now, the chart, when I looked at it on Pulse X, unfortunately, does not go back very far. But I do remember that the price was at some certain points, so we're just going to go to a random point in history when the price was 0.0002, because it was there. All right, so if we had provided that point, it would have been 5 million pulse. Okay, so we're starting to have some numbers here. So now this thing works to some extent. We know that we provided at 0.2 of a cent, 10 grand worth of pulse, 10 grand of USDC, 5 million pulse, and 10,000 USDC equaling 20,000. Excellent. In the future, this pair will look like this, or it will currently look like this if we're talking about the past. USDC itself would have about doubled in value, and the pulse would have halved in the amount available in the pool. The total amount of the pool would have doubled, so it's worth 40 grand. Now, using this, we can figure out what we would have had we not provided the liquidity. It would still be 5 million pulse and 10,000 USDC. So 5 million pulse would have been worth, at this price point, we calculate that, okay, and we add it to the US, and we add it to the USDC. So we would have had 50 grand had we not provided liquidity. Now, we provided liquidity, and so we're at 40 grand over here. So we minus this from what we would have had, and that's what we consider the impermanent loss, because we provided liquidity because we had less pulse while it went up in value. That's how that works. So, but why would anyone provide liquidity? So there's some values to that. How much trading happened during all of that? What if we actually managed to earn 500,000 pulse during all of that? And what if we managed to actually earn, let's say, 2,000 USDC for all that back and forth fighting? Well, we start to get some interesting numbers. So the value here of the fees collected from the trading would be 4,000 at the current price and 2,000 at the current price, which means we have some extra profit through fees, which would reduce our impermanent loss, this bright green box. So impermanent loss after the revenue. Well, that doesn't look so good, but there's plenty of pools that are incentivized. And what if in these incentivization pools you can actually earn 10,000 incentive tokens? Well, that didn't do anything because we've got the incentive tokens priced at $0. But I have seen them at 99 cents. And suddenly, between intensive tokens, fees, and all the changing around, now we can see that was profitable. That is profitable. Nice. I like that. That's what that looks like. And the what if game. Okay, we've got how I break down the math for balancing liquidity pools. Nice and simple. It's not the big scary one from my Pulse X math, price math. So this is an idea that I used for standard liquidity providing. Will it be profitable? Which pools do I want to participate in? The more volume traded, the more volatility up and down, the more fees you collect. The better incentivized, the more incentive tokens you collect, and the price of the incentive tokens. You just fill out the white boxes to figure out what you've made on top and what kind of impermanent loss you're looking at. Now, there was an interesting thing I found when I was doing this calculator as well. Zero these out. And what I like to call this one is impermanent gains. If you believe in the asset, you must believe in the asset. Must believe in the asset. So again, we're looking at this price point of 0.2 of a cent. But what if in the future, instead of being worth more, it became worth less? Boom. Well, what the heck? This says we lost money still. Again, no matter what, we're losing money providing liquidity. It does seem that way with the trading that goes against the pool, that your bags get hit by impermanent loss no matter what direction you trade. But in this direction, when the price became less, basically people are taking your USDC out and they're giving you pulse. So now you have 10 million pulse, but it's worth less. Worth less. No, it's just worth less than it was originally at this current point in time. But if you have 10 million pulse suddenly, you've doubled your pulse bags, and you're confident that this price is going to go up to, say, even $1 or something like that, wouldn't that be a good time to pull the liquidity as you have increased your bags, technically dollar cost averaging in? So providing liquidity, when I see what I think is the top of a pump, and I'm like, should I be selling and cashing out some of my bags right now so I can scoop up some more later, that swing trade? Why don't I just provide liquidity? So then if I'm right, I'm scooping up bags on the way down. And if I'm wrong, I'm only dollar cost averaging out a little bit while I go, well, crap, that price decided it's still got more up to go. I better pull my liquidity out and ride it higher before I provide it. So instead of trading in and buying out and buying in and losing all my bags and selling half of my stuff, why don't I just take my liquidity out when I think it's at a bottom and put it in when I think it's at a top? So I cushion my favorite asset with more money so the price doesn't dip as much. I scoop up more bags, and then when I think all the pain's done, I pull those bags out and wait for them to appreciate till the next time I stabilize my favorite asset again. Make money while helping stabilize the thing I like and being cautious and smart about it? Well, I know what I'm going to do. You guys are probably just going to sell on a double. Anyways, I hope you like this math when it comes there. But a lot of people are like, you know what? I don't want to trade a stable coin, especially what after happened to Luna. I don't want my liquidity pools to be stuck like that. Fair point. Fair point. We have a second calculator. The one that most people are really going to care about. So to make this thing a little easier, I'm like, asset to assets, kind of complicated bit of math. But I did make the what if games pretty simple again. I really did try to break these out simple. So I look at the current price, and then when you look at the K value or the total size of the liquidity pool and you find the root, that's the dollar price. And then you can easily scale it up and down by square roots of value change in delta. All right, cool. So that's all that's about. Now, what I had to do was build the same calculator twice. If I was going to do this, I needed to know what the price and liquidity pools would look like if I put Pulse in stablecoin and Pulse X in stablecoin, or whatever assets you're going to pair. They go into the stablecoin first, so you can break some numbers. You don't care about the fees or LP rewards, because basically those don't exist for these pools. They only exist to track the impermanent loss kind of data. How many coins would shift around based on what happened. Now, when I have that together, now I can actually build the calculator out of these two, figure out what the scale ratio trade size is. Because these things won't necessarily, even though they're paired with each other, they won't necessarily move to each other. So we can see I had some starting prices for Pulse and Pulse UST, but now for Pulse, we can see I need to adjust this number because that's an 8.1 now. Whoa, that changes some of my math around, doesn't it? One heck of a value increase. It still doesn't say it was a good idea on my calculator. So let's go back to Pulse X and let's see what the current Pulse X price is. Ooh, 23 tenths of a cent. Or 2.3 thirds of a cent. I cannot speak today. But we see that number, right, folks? We see it's much bigger than this scary little number where I figured out the impermanent gain thing. Change that to a 2.3. Oh, look, that price went up too. Both prices went up, but they trade against each other. So we need to know how much each one went up. Then I can figure out the proportional shift in the pool to each other. Okay, because we do set in USDC, this value here is technically the value we want to put on each side. So I want to say 10,000 Pulse and 10,000 USDC. So I've set that to 10,000, the other set to 10,000. And that builds my calculator over on this side. Okay, perfect. And over here is where we try to look at, well, we had 6 million, 7 million, we have millions in here trading. So let's assume we made at least 10% of each on all this trading because it was highly volatile. So 200,000 and another 600,000. Okay. So we get an idea for what we got here as opposed to our total values and our impermanent loss, what we would have had, all that good jazz. So right now, oh my God, with just fees and no incentive token, if the pools between Pulse and PulseX were that volatile, my crystal ball, impermanent loss gains, says even without any incentive token, providing liquidity might have been a good idea if I'm earning fees at that rate, if it's actually that volatile. How much of a good idea? What if, again, we got just another $10,000 bonus, basically, in incentive token? Wow, that's looking like a really good idea. Now, maybe I'm being really over bullish. The APY on the incentive token seems to be at 100%. I've provided very small pools of liquidity. So this is 6 million. I provided 6,000. So you'd have to times it by 1,000. And honestly, I've earned one incentive token. So let's be a little more modest. I think that that's actually the rate that could be expected on a pool that size, possibly. This is real estimated low ball, but oh look, it actually even says the words yes and no. I went to that amount I programmed for you folks. I stopped even just using equations. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to put something cute in here. It's going to talk to you. The crystal ball actually says things now. You shake it and it says yes or no. It doesn't even say, oh, looks not so good. Like, just says yes or no. All right? Try to make this nice and easy so that you too can get in there, pump your bags, and not trade risky and do the smart things, at least that I think are smart, that will really actually be the place to grow my wealth and not just gamble. So I hope this has been informative to you. You also may find this on HaveAPulse.com shortly, and it may help you decide if you want to be a whale in our system as well. Thank you for watching. You guys should be hitting the like, subscribe. Please come back. No more warp drive things. Top Gun Hexadian Twitter. Top Gun Hexadian at Telegram. Top Gun Hexadian at Gmail. Top Gun Hexadian at Discord. Top Gun Hex. I mean, I'm getting all over the place here, folks. So come find me. I love to engage, and I'd love to also hear ideas for input, what you would like to see another video on. You know, do you want more price predictions? Leave a comment. Do you want more ways to make money in the system? Leave a comment. Do you want to learn how to do limit orders? Leave a comment. Like, you want to learn how to interface with this system? Leave a comment. Oh, and if you would like to be taught how equity equals assets minus liabilities and what that all means in the grand scope of accounting and how you just calculate future payments and balance expenses and revenues and make an actual balance sheet, leave a comment. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have my CPA, so I have no fiduciary responsibility, but I may have dropped out of accounting class due to financial issues with funding for school. So I may have some information about tax laws and accounting and all the rest. You guys don't ask. I don't know where to tell. I don't know what you need to know. Leave a comment. What do you need to know for crypto? I'd love to help you out. And if we're lucky, next week I'm going to have a coder on. And we are going to do some deep dives into possibly Visual Basic Code because it's free. And into C++ and Solidity. I would like to hit some of that programming stuff. Apparently that'll get a lot more views than Warp Drive. So it's coming. Oh, and it's a female. She's cute. You'd never believe she's a coder to see her. You'd be like, yeah, right. She sells like fashion stuff. Well, she does, but she's a coder for the website that sells fashion stuff. So I mean, you got it. It's funny. It's funny. So I guys, what is it? Fashion Coder. You will go figure. Her name's Fashion Coder. So yeah, looking forward to having her on and doing some deep dive on coding. So for now, thanks folks for tuning in, and until see you next time, stay frosty.